Hello everyone, Sarah here. And while I was sleeping, Champions TCG came out with a pretty cool announcement, so I wanted to go and make a video where we talk about what they just announced. So they've announced basically a crafting mechanic. So essentially what you'll be able to do is you'll be able to take excess cards, or it doesn't even have to be excess cards, you can take whatever cards you have and you can break them down into shards. And you'll be able to use those shards to fuse them with packs and create packs with higher likelihoods of finding the cards you're looking for. So we'll scroll down this and we'll get a good idea of how this works together. Alright, so let's see. Shards are magical essence in Champions TCG World. Breaking down any of your Champions TCG cards will reveal the contents inside, including a variety of shards such as elemental and rarity shards. So essentially, there are three types of shards, okay? There's going to be the elemental shard, there's going to be the rarity shard, and then there's going to be a third type of shard, which is the extra rare, and they're called fused shards. So, if you break down a fire card, you have high likelihood of getting a fire shard. If you break down an ice card, you have high likelihood of getting an ice shard. As well as, if you break down a mythic, you have increased odds of finding a mythic shard, whereas if you break down a common, you'll have increased odds of finding a common shard. So that part is fairly simple. The part that's a little bit confusing are the fused shards. Now, fused shards you won't be able to get from regular cards. You'll only be able to get fused shards from special edition cards. So what is a special edition card? So we can look at these cards, these tournament edition, anything in this like fancy silver border. This is I guess this isn't silver. I don't even know what you'd call this color. But anything in this border, this like purplish silverish border, these are all mythics, or these will all give you one fused shard, is what I'm trying to get at. The same is true for these cards. These will also all give you one fused shard. So essentially, any of these cards that you don't get by normal means, like these holiday edition cards as well, I'm fairly certain these holiday edition cards will also give you fused shards. And then these leaderboard editions, of course, will also give you fused shards. And now these leaderboard edition cards, they also have rarity. So like this one, you have silvers, you have golds, you have the grays. These scale, not only will these give you fused shards, but they'll also scale with the rarity and with the element. So I think we have a pretty decent idea now of what these shards are doing. We're able to take these shards, we're able to break our cards down, get a whole bunch of shards, and we can see the drop rates here. A special edition card will yield 5 shards, which would be 1 fused shard plus 4 elementals. A first generation card would give you 3 shards, an elemental, and then a chance at a common, rare, mythic, or fused shard. Then the Gen 2 and the Gen 3s, they each give you 2 and then 1. So as the more generations come out, the amount of shards you get will decrease. And that leaves me wondering, what happens when Gen 4 comes? When Gen 4 comes, will the amount of shards you get from Gen 3 packs go up, or will they stay the same? That I don't know. I couldn't tell you. But that is something that I'm wondering myself. So let's take a look at some of the odds that we were given. So this is something I see floating around in the Discord server. This is a message by Kumlord talking about some potential probabilities. I don't think these are guaranteed, but I think these are on the table for at least as an example of what we could expect. So if we break down a Gen 1 card, you're going to get 3 shards. And then based on the rarity, common, rare, or mythic, you'll have different odds of finding higher rarity things. So like a Gen 1 mythic has a 48% chance of dropping you a mythic shard. And now keep in mind, you're getting 3 shards. So you have decent odds of getting at least 1 mythic shard. You could get more than 1 mythic shard. So I'm not going to go through and read through all of these. You can just pause the video and read over these odds yourself and make with it what you will. So to me, once I woke up, I was very interested in this, and I started thinking, okay, well, what is the most valuable thing to be buying for these for when we can craft and disenchant. So now we're moving away from the territory of we're just talking about these rates. Now we're talking about some dubious speculation. None of this is financial advice. This is purely what I'm doing and what I am taking a look at. And it's not like I've even gone too crazy. I think I spent like 20, 30 bucks so far, not even sweeping some cards. I'm probably going to sweep some more, but this is what I've been doing. So I looked at these odds, and basically I came to the conclusion that I'm either going to be buying Gen 2 or Gen 3. There might be some Gen 1 cards that are worth buying, because, let me see. Where is it? Generation 1 here. Yeah, like, there are some pretty cheap cards here. Like, these Crockies being $2, like, if I were to do the math real quick, can I even do the math that quick? You get 3 shards, it's a common, so you only have a 5% chance at a mythic, whereas that's really small. I'm not looking to buy 20 of these, because to buy 20, that would cost, what? That would be 40 bucks almost. Whereas I can just go to Gen 2, and I can buy a mythic, which is 20%, and I can buy a Gen 2 mythic for about $1. So I think all the value right now, I think the best EV is in Gen 2. And then once you start looking at Gen 2, you can start to... Here, let me open this up in a new tab as well, actually. So for me, I've concluded that Gen 2 is where I want to be doing the majority of my buying right now. And then you can scroll down, and you can see a lot of Gen 2 cards are still $1, like for the rares. Like the Voldragon's $1, Sanctum's $1. I mean, they're $1 and change, obviously. They're not just straight up $1. But I think these are solid. Like earlier today, I came through, I swept like 5 or 6 Necro Bears, because I think these guys are solid. I also think, so for me, I've been buying mostly the ice and the death cards. And I see a lot of people, I haven't bought many of these yet, but I see a lot of people saying that the dark cards are the highest value, because you have the highest chance of, you have a chance of getting the purple lily with the dark cards. And while that is true, there is only one purple lily. So to me, it's not giving me quite the odds I'm looking for. It's really all or nothing. What I'm looking at is, let's scroll down here. I'm looking, like I said, I'm looking at the death and the ice cards. Why am I looking at death and ice? Because, well, one, I think death is the best, because death has Vilemoth and Demothera that you can pull. Ice has the Oak Warden and the M Penguin that you can pull. Now, the M Penguin isn't actually that good of a card, but the Oak Warden is actually very good. And the Vilemoth and Demothera are both insanely good cards. And then as we scroll down, looking at like the cards that are still worthwhile, cosmic cards are going to be very hard to get. They're not going to be easy, because you're only going to be able to get them from, you're only going to be able to get the elemental packs from Gen 3, which I think is lower value. So to me, all the value is stacked in Earth over here. I think these 3 cards are quite solid to pull from Earth. Ice, I think Oak Warden has I think Oak Warden will solo carry the ice packs, so I'm happy to go for the ice packs. And then the death packs for these Vilemoth and Demotheras. To me, that's where the value's at. And if you look at the Gen 2 stuff, you get 2 shards per Gen 2 card, right? So let's see. You get 2 shards per Gen 2 card. So let's say you're buying commons, or let's say you're buying rares. I think the rares and the mythics are where it's at. I think the commons are not as valuable. So if we scroll down, let's sort by rarity. So you can still buy a ton of these cards for under 10 cents. So for $2, right? Is it $2? Wait, hold on. You get two shards per thing. So yeah, you would have to get 20. You'd have to open up 20 cards. You'd have to crack 20 cards to have decent odds of pulling 1 mythic. So I think somewhere around these like under 10-cent cards, or these $1 mythics. Well, but the odds for the $1 mythic, you'd have to buy 5 mythics. So I still think you're better off buying 20 rares than you are to buy 1 mythic. I think the odds are a little better that way for you. Oh, what did I just do? And I think we're mostly talking in circles at this point. I think you can come to your own conclusions on the cards that you want to get if you want to get any. But yeah, this is what I've been doing. I've been stacking up the dark cards, or not the darks. I've been stacking the death cards, the ice cards, because that's what interests me the most. And yeah, I hope this was helpful. I hope you learned something about this new crafting system. Oh, one thing I didn't mention is I'm still not sure how Coom boxes play into this. My guess is Coom boxes are just going to give you shards, but I could be wrong. They could be doing something totally different. I really don't know. But yeah, that's my strategy. That's what I'm thinking going into this. I'm really excited to break down a bunch of cards I have. I have tons of extras that I'm never going to use. I can probably break down like at least 2,000 cards that I'm not going to use. So we'll see. I'm looking forward to this. And there's some good stuff, dude. Like, I think these Ice Eagles, these Glacettes, these Frostwings, like, where's the Death stuff? The Death stuff is the rarest, dude. The Death stuff, I think, is like the highest value. These Wraith Shades, these Rot Petals, these Wither Blooms, you can just stack these up. And then you can use them. You can craft a Mythic pack if you have one of these. If you're able to get your hands on a Fuse Shard, you can craft a Mythic Death pack or a Mythic Ice pack, and you'll have really good odds of pulling a Vile Moth or a Demothera. So I think that's where the juice is at. Just targeting specific cards that you want to go for. Be it for your deck, or just because you want to try to like craft something and then flip it. I don't know. There's options though, for sure. Thank y'all for joining me, and I'll see y'all next time when we have another update. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you are going to be buying any gems for Champions TCG, don't forget to use the code MFer. If you use the code MFer at checkout, you'll get 10% off. That'll help me out as well. And yeah, thanks for joining me, and see you all next time.